Okay, so here's the temperature gauge from a custom cab truck, and I don't usually adjust them. This is to show how to adjust these things. I don't usually adjust them on a bench. I usually do it in the vehicle because you can only adjust the high end when you're at operating temperature, of course. The low end you can actually adjust on the bench though, and as you can see, this one's showing less than cold. There's no real information on exactly what it should point at, but it's obviously very low in this picture. So what you do is, you of course have to get to the back side of the gauge, but you can see these two holes here and here. The one lower and to the right on the back is for the low end of the scale, and the one on the upper left is for the high end of the scale when it's on when the vehicle's all operating temperature. If you look inside these little holes, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see a little tiny nub sticking up there and sticking down there. Hopefully you can see that. It's just a little tiniest thing. And so what you do is take a screwdriver just like this, something that fits fairly well in the hole and fills up the hole fairly well, and get it in there, and just gently, as you turn it, you'll see this here, and you can affect quite a bit of change. You can set that cold temperature up. Now I've gone past that first nub, so I have to grab a new one. You can see now there's really kind of, the lighting's terrible, two nubs sticking up in there, and it's just a little gear that you're turning. Those are the teeth of a gear, and so you just get your screwdriver back in there again, and you can go possibly a little bit higher even. So this is on the cold setting. I can make it run hot on the cold setting, and of course now I'll just show you. You turn it the other way to bring it back down again. And if you hook these things up to voltage, don't go more than 5 volts across them. 5 should peg it at high or beyond high, and 0 volts will bring it down to whatever you set this pointer at. And I kind of like it set when it's sort of like that on cold. It drifts. Even after you set it, it drifts a little bit. These gauges are actually quite sensitive, and so you have to tinker with it just a little bit to get it to where it's just where you want it. And then you can do the same thing with that when it's in the truck with the high end of the scale, and adjust that high end when it's all warmed up. Same thing. So again, you can move it, man. As you saw, I could move the cold from well below all the way up to nearly high, and I wasn't even really done turning. I'm sure you can likewise adjust the high quite a range. I usually am just trying to get it, you know, where I want it. If I'm at operating temperature, I'll usually go for the small nub. That way when it gets over it, you know, if it gets up to this range or beyond, I know I'm getting into trouble. And that's about it. Have fun.